Welcome into another edition of Sports Overtime Saturday night. Lauren Cash alongside Josh McKinney. Jamie McCracken is in Lexington for the NBA exhibition game. We'll get to that later. You're stuck with me again.
All day long. Yay. Second week in a row, the majority of our local colleges on the road or off, as you mentioned in the toss. UVA Wise, though, our only team playing at home this week.
Yes, we'll have highlights of their game against West Liberty in a minute, but first, Kentucky played Thursday night, had their chances, but could not close out the game.
Yeah, the story of their two losses. The Cats fell to Auburn 30-27. Head coach Mark Stoops and his team now 4-2 on the year. Lots of questions after the game about the last drive, beginning with Boom Williams, the run on 2nd and 5, less than a minute to go, no timeouts, and then a deep throw to Jeff Badette, as you see there on the next play. Kentucky's chances, of course, though, ended with Patrick Tolles getting sacked on 4th down. This isn't the first time Stoops has felt like his team let one get away.
I could think of a couple games in particular that we had a few that were that stick out to me, that were missed opportunities, several in the last 2 years. And you know, that's what I told the team. You know, is the glass half full or is it half empty? You know, we know we can make those plays, and I don't fault our team. They're prepared. They know that, you know, they believe they can make them. They know they can make them, and it comes down to a few plays here and there. We'll continue to work to make those plays to make a difference, to win some games. We have, and as the competition gets better with certain people, you know, we got to step it up as well.
All right, the Cats hit the road to Starkville, Mississippi next Saturday to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Cats look to bounce back after that tough home loss Thursday night against Auburn. Kentucky lost last season to the Bulldogs at home when they were the #1 team in the nation. The last time the Cats beat the Bulldogs was, Josh, do you know? Do not read the teleprompter. That was cheating. A 14-13 road win for Kentucky.
Hey, if it's there, I'm going to use it. How about some SEC highlights? Number 13, Ole Miss visiting unbeaten Memphis. Chad Kelly to a wide-open Demoria Stringfellow for the touchdown. Rebels up 14-0.
That's a fun name to say.
In the first. Stringfellow's a good fellow. It's now 14-10. Rebels still up. Kelly looking to pass, throws over the middle, and he's picked off by Dion Whitty, who returns it down to the Ole Miss 30-yard line, and that would lead to this. Sam Kraft running it in from 4 yards out, and Memphis would never trail again. 40 seconds to go in the half. Paxton Lynch rolling, sets, fires, hits Anthony Miller for the 6-yard score, and Memphis stays perfect
like
on the year, just as everyone thought they would. Number 13, Ole Miss falls 37-24.
All right, number 10, Alabama visiting number 9, Texas A&M. Aggies have not been 6-0 since 1994. Crimson Tide applying the defensive pressure early. Kyle Allen rolling left. Picked off right there by Minka Fitzpatrick, and Fitzpatrick returns it 33 yards for the pick six. Alabama up 7-0. It's now 21-6 in the second. How about another defensive score? We love defensive scores. Allen picked off again, this time by Eddie Jackson at the Bama 7-yard line, and Jackson's going to pick up a solid 93 yards on the return for another big six. And number 10, Alabama rolls over number 9, Texas A&M 41-23 in the final in College Station.
Roll Tide. We go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Some other scores around the SEC. Kentucky's next opponent, Mississippi State, 45-20 winners over Louisiana Tech. South Carolina 19-10 at home over Vanderbilt. LSU and Florida, the Tigers 35-28 over the Gators. Number 6 LSU keeps rolling. And look at this barn burner down in Athens. Georgia 9, Missouri 6. We saw a tweet earlier that said Georgia's bullpen blew that one late. That's a rough outing for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, those high-powered offenses of the SEC right there. Let's head out to Wise, Virginia. The Cavaliers playing at home this afternoon against West Liberty. You know, one of the few teams at home from around here. Wise gets on the board first with this Carlton Griffith run from 3 yards out. Extra point is no good, but that puts the Cavs up 6-0, and that sets up tonight's Falls Auto Group drive of the night. Let's back it up a little bit. Griffith's touchdown was capped off a 6-play, 75-yard touchdown drive that took only 2 minutes and 24 seconds, highlighted by 2 big yardage plays from Skylar Browlow and Carlton Griffith, one going for 35 yards, the other for 22. And then, of course, Griffith getting the handoff again and muscling his way across the goal line for 6. Tough, though, kind of a indicative of their season, the extra point gets blocked.
On the first drive, he scored a touchdown, no extra point.
Hilltoppers had several empty trips down in the red zone in the first quarter. Second quarter, though, Dalton Conwell with the QB keeper, missed tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle for Wise on that West Liberty score. Coaches were not pleased, and we go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Wise scores on its first possession of the game, as Josh mentioned, and that's it. West Liberty rattles off 30 unanswered, and the Cavaliers still in search of that first win of the season.
Hey, looked good though, right?
It did.
Stay on Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. As we mentioned, everyone else on the road. Cumberland's a big win at Kentucky Christian, 56-17. Union Falls at Georgetown, 40-7. The Tigers, a losing record on the season, but undefeated in Mid-South Conference play. EKU, a big win on the road at Southeast Missouri State, 27-10. And Davidson gets a career day from former Somerset Briar jumper Cam Chevron, but it's not enough as they fall to the Butler Bears, 38-7. Cam, 100 or so yards and a couple of touchdowns, a big day for him.
Yeah, I think he had 8 catches on 103 yards, no touchdowns. So difficult day. Davidson keeps trying and trying and trying.
100 yards is 100 yards.
Yes. Up next on the show, we begin our local college basketball preview.
There's a lot of them. U-Pike, Union, Cumberlands, and of course the Kentucky Wildcats.
Hi, Kristen Kunzman, the head women's basketball coach at UVA Wise, and you're watching Sports Overtime.
The college basketball season is right around the corner, and for the Kentucky Wildcat fans, they got to see their team last night for the first time at Big Blue Madness.
Yes, so did you.
I did,
An exciting night inside Rupp Arena, but there are some questions about this year's team. One guy, head coach John Calipari, is counting on to really step up his game is junior Marcus Lee. Cal says the best thing about his big man is the fact that offensively and defensively, he can play a lot of positions.
He's an energy guy, a shot blocker, a rebounder, a team that drives our passion and the emotion with what we play. A player that's improved all his other areas, but that's not why they're going to look at him. A guy that can play 4 positions. We switch pick and roll. He can play 5s and 1s, and now all of a sudden you have truly a somewhat positionless. He's not skilled enough to be totally positionless, but a guy that can do that on defense.
The Kentucky Wildcats will take the court on Tuesday, October 27th for their annual blue-white scrimmage, but do not officially begin the season until Friday, November 13th at home versus the Great Danes of Albany. That game is a 7 o'clock tip on the SEC Network. The game will be the first ever meeting between the two programs.
Well, speaking of #1 teams in the country, the U-Pike Bears were named the top team in NAI by the Sporting News. The Bears lose 2 seniors off of last season's Elite 8 team. One of those was the NAI Player of the Year, but 4 out of their 5 starters are back, and Coach Kelly Wells says they'll have something they didn't have last season.
You see some big guys. We finally have some big guys, and I think one of the things people thought we overachieved so much last year is because we didn't have that. But at the same time, that became our advantage too, because everybody had to change their style of play because their post players couldn't keep up with what our guards were doing. And now we're more traditional type team. We'll have a traditional 4-man, we'll have a traditional 5-man in this year's team, and that's in game planning that helps us as well. But I think it's going to be a dynamic change when you look out and you see, 2 6'9" kids, a 6'11" kid, a couple 6'7". So it will be dynamically different as far as our appearance on the floor.
The Bears start their season in a little over a week. They welcome in the Central Pennsylvania Knights to the East Kentucky Expo Center Monday, October 26th. Game time set for 7 o'clock. The Bears play 7 straight home games to start the season before going on the road against Life on November 19th down in Marietta, Georgia.
How about the ladies? The U-Pike women had a season to remember last year, finishing 23-9 and a visit to the NAIA tournament in Independence, Missouri. Even though the Bears lost in the first round, it was a learning experience for the entire team, and with only losing 2 seniors, the bulk on the team back, the returning players are ready to finish out close games and reach the tournament again.
Oh yeah, for sure. At the time, of course we wanted to win that first game, and we were so close, especially in the national tournament. And then that early exit in the Mid-South Conference wasn't what we planned, but that just made us, stronger for this year, I think. And most of us are returners this time, so I think we know what we got to look forward to.
Obviously we were upset because the season ended, but because we kept hanging in there and coming back, it showed us that, yeah, we really could and should have won that game if we would have played 100% like we did in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So I feel like this year, if we get to that point again, we will win.
The U Pike women look to get back to the national tournament this year, and it all starts October 29th at 5 o'clock at the East Kentucky Expo Center against the Ohio University Lancaster Bobcats. U Pike plays 6 home games to start the season before heading to Puerto Rico on November 27th and 28th.
Hey Josh, do we need a reporter to go cover the women's team? I'd love to go to Puerto Rico.
Sure, why not?
The Cumberland's Patriots men's basketball program reached the Sweet 16 in Kansas City last season. Qualifying now for the NAIA tournament is pretty much expected for this program, now having been there 3 of the last 4 seasons. This roster has 7 seniors on it, and the team believes that maturity and experience will help get them back to Kansas City and go deeper into the tournament.
We lost Tony Bradley and Chance Armstrong. Those are 2 of our senior captains last year. We have a lot more seniors that came in this year. We have, I believe, 7. So 7 compared to 2. I think it'll help us with our experience and our maturity. And I feel like that's a lot of what we had to fight last year, just a little immature mistakes and things like that that might cost you some games that are winnable.
The experience factor we have a bunch of seniors. We got guys that have been to Kansas City 2 or 3 years now, so we know what it's like to be there. We shouldn't be rattled. We should be ready for anything thrown at us, and it should just help us.
You can go to Puerto Rico if I can go to Kansas City.
Absolutely not. Kansas City is the best trip. I call dibs from now on. The Cumberland's Patriots open up the season at home against IU Southeast on November 3rd. That's a Tuesday. Game time set for 7 o'clock. The Pats only have 4 home games in November, and then they don't play at the Owain Rollins Center again until January 2nd. That's one long road trip in December for the Patriots.
Yes, it is. The Patriot ladies finished 13-17 in the 2015 season. While that's not what this team is accustomed to, they battled a lot of adversity both on and off the court. Looking ahead to this season, head coach Melissa Urban is excited about the new young talent on the roster.
Coming out of last year into this year, we have a lot of goals, and we always have here at the University of the Cumberlands. Our team wants to win. You know, that's not necessarily the first and foremost thing, but how we win and why we win are very important to our program. We want to be great on and off the floor. We want to make sure that our players are great women, that they're representing the University of the Cumberlands well on and off the court.
First up for the Patriot ladies, they go on the road to Midway to tip off their season on October 29th. That's a Thursday night. Cumberland's does not have a home game until November 17th, and that is against Rio Grande. Next on Sports Overtime Saturday night, we continue previewing our local college basketball team.
And I'm going to continue trying to go to Puerto Rico with the U Pike women's basketball team. And we'll also hear from the Union men and women's team, Alice Lord's men's and women's teams, and the UVA-Y's Lady Cavaliers.
Not going to work. The Union men's basketball team will look to continue the win streak, 2 consecutive regular season and tournament AAC championships.
Yeah, last season Union finished 30-5 overall, 17-1 in league play, and the Bulldogs advanced all the way to the Sweet 16 of the NAIA Division II National Championship.
It's not bad.
Just normal. Regardless of only returning 4 players off of last year's squad, the Bulldogs received every first place vote by the coaches to win the Appalachian Athletic Conference once again. 4th season now for Kevin Burton.
In the last 2 years when we've won it, you've seen about 15 or 20 guys that are super excited and happy because they realize how difficult of a task it is. And to do it in consecutive seasons is even then some, you know. So hopefully we can do it again. It's not going to be easy. Our guys are preparing for it. They know it's not going to be easy. And I think they've had a really good balance of hungry, humbleness, all at the same time so far.
12 home games for the Bulldogs this season. The Dogs open up the year at the end of this month, October 27th, against Boyce. They have an exhibition game against a Division I opponent November 8th. Hey, that's Eastern Kentucky. The Appalachian Athletic Conference tournament will begin on February 24th.
Tim Curry's team returns all but 1 player from last year's squad. The Union women made it to the semifinals of the AAC tournament. Milligan knocked them out, and the Bulldogs did not get into the national tournament in Sioux City, Iowa. Curry thankful to have basically everyone back. As for the players, the women are using that loss to Milligan as fuel for this season.
It's a nice thing as a coach. It's more about, but still you slide people into different roles every year. Even if you only graduate 1 kid, you have to adjust roles and people slide in different directions. You're still incorporating new kids. So there's always challenges that goes with it. But yeah, I would much rather be in a situation where I'm returning a lot of players versus returning no one.
Obviously no one was happy with the way last year ended. we didn't come out and play the way we needed to, and he said that, and we knew that ourselves anyway. So just making sure if we keep that in the forefront of our minds at the beginning of each game, then we know what we have to bring to the table each time, so it's not going to happen again.
The Union women opened the season on a Tuesday at Alice Lloyd College, November 10th, 5 o'clock. Last year, the Bulldogs won by 10, 80-70. You just heard from Lydia Nash. She led her team with 23 points in that win over the Lady Eagles. Union will actually play Alice Lloyd again 4 days later in the Union College Classic, so a double dip of the Lady Eagles in 1 week's time for the Lady Bulldogs.
Well, speaking of Alice Lloyd, the men's basketball team has a lot of hype surrounding it this season. Only one player gone from last year's team that advanced to the semifinals of the KIAC tournament, and add to the returners a talented incoming class of freshmen. The thing that has the coaches and veterans most excited about is the recruits and how athletic they are around the rim.
They don't have the pressure on them. All the pressure is on the seniors, and these guys just go play. All they got to do is go to the role play, and there's some true athletes in here that play well above the rim. There's actually some surprise newcomers that come in and are playing really well, and it just makes us even better.
Athleticism. A couple of them play above the rim more than we usually used to, and then our guard play. We have a bunch of guards that came in that will push the ball and the tempo up.
The Eagles open their season with 3 straight home games, beginning with Kentucky Christian on Tuesday, November 3rd. Tip-off set for 7:30 p.m. at the Grady Nutt Athletic Center. The last time these two teams met, the Knights beat the Eagles 89-81 in Grayson on December 2nd of last season.
As for the Alice Lloyd women, leading scorer Carla Booth is gone after graduating last season, which means there are going to have to be some players step up and help shoulder the scoring load. The biggest thing, though, that will help contribute to that is the players learning to play with confidence and developing a sense of self-belief.
Just self-belief, and I feel that each day they're getting a little bit better at it. We still have 3 weeks to really get that down, and for them to see that, hey, we're pretty dang good as a group. This year our strength has to be in our numbers.
I think that we need to have more confidence. I agree with Coach. We need to have more confidence in the way we play. And we have some incoming freshmen. They're going to help us score. We needed more scorers, definitely. And like he said, we relied on Carla Booth to do a lot of the scoring.
The Alice Lloyd women needing to find some scoring with the graduation of Carla Booth will host the Kentucky Christian Knights on Tuesday, November 3rd. Alice Lloyd lost a close one the last time these two teams met, 82-81 at KCU last December.
The UVA-wise women are excited to get back on the hardwood after just a 10-win season last year. The roster, though, last season was not ideal with just 8 girls on the roster, but it's a new season, and with that, more players. Head coach Kristen Kunzman says now with 13 girls on the roster, that adds to more depth to their team, which in turn gives them more of an opportunity to play their style of basketball.
Well, there's a lot of, especially with the new rules, there's going to be a lot of different things, where we're going to quarters, and some end of the game things are going to be different. But as far as us as a team, we're going to be able to do a little bit more defensively and offensively because we have the depth. So we are going to be able to do just some different things defensively where we have more speed and that kind of thing.
The Lady Cavaliers take their new team on the road to start the season in North Carolina against the Winston-Salem State Rams. Well, that was easy to say. Game set for November 18th. UVA-Wise's first home game is later in the month of November, the 28th against Tusculum. Well, Josh, Rupp Arena's been pretty busy this weekend with Big Blue Madness last night, NBA exhibition game tonight.
Yeah, I'm not a big NBA guy, but tonight had to have been pretty cool. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings meeting up for a preseason game. Also, a couple of former Wildcats making a return to Rupp Arena. 4 former Wildcats, in fact, on the floor tonight. Rajon Rondo, one of them. Of course, you've got Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins, and the 22-year-old Anthony Davis of New Orleans. He made bank in the offseason. Didn't take long for the highlight of the night. Rondo to Cousins, and check out Boogie all over Anthony Davis. That's unreal. 19 points, 5 boards. Boogie may have had the highlight of the night, but Davis was hot early. First, a 3-ball. Next trip down off the dribble. Davis, rise and fire. He's running the point on the break. 19 points, 8 rebounds for Davis. Another former John Calipari guy, Chris Douglas Roberts, with some acrobatics. He was a Memphis guy under Cal. 9 for CDR. Second half we go. We didn't forget about Trill. Willie Cauley-Stein rocks the rim on the baseline, 7.6 boards for him. The Kings win it though, 107-98. Jamie McCracken, the tough question after the game.
What did you make of the dunk early by DeMarcus?
Oh, he dunked on me? You talking about that one? I mean, it's been 4 years since he did it, and he kept playing it. So I'm gonna get you one day. I mean, he got me. It happens, you know. But you know, it is fun. You know, as soon as he did it, I told him, I said, it's about time. And you know, he laughed and said, yeah. I mean, so it's all fun. I mean, I really don't care, to be honest.
It's still great. Marcus Cousins dunking all over Anthony Davis. Just 2 weeks left, though, of the high school football regular season, which means
we're 3 weeks away from postseason.
Best time of year.
Can't wait.
We'll recap week 8 of the high school football gridiron. Almost missed my cue on that one. And this week's 2-minute drill. That's next.
The leaves are changing colors and it's starting to get cold outside, which means the high school football regular season is winding down. With just 2 weeks remaining, district games become all the more important. Check them out in this week's Least Famous Recipe Hazard and Whitesburg 2-minute drill. Week 8 of the high school football season means nothing but district play. We go to Log Mountain for our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week, a Mountain Top 10 matchup between number 6 Bell County and number 8 Corbin. Bell County jumped out to a quick 13-0 lead, but Corbin turned around and outscored them 34-7 to win it. 34-20 the final, and in doing so, they wrapped up the district. The Red Hounds have now won back-to-back district titles and 2 straight over Bell County. Staying in Class 3A, the Lawrence County Bulldogs bounced back from last week's loss to Belfry with a 40-point victory over Pike Central to improve to 1-1 in District 8. Dropping down to 2A, Shelby Valley hands Leslie County its first loss on the season by putting up 62 points on the Eagles. Shelby Valley improved to 4-0 in District 8. Another District 8 matchup going on in Floyd County. Allen Central welcomed in Prestonsburg, and the Black Cats shut out the Rebels 35-0. To Class A, the Williamsburg Yellow Jackets spoiled Pineville's hopes of a district title, handing the Mountain Lions a 50-15 loss. And now we make the big jump to Class 5A, a District 8 showdown at Commodore Field between two coaches who are fairly familiar with each other. Perry Central and North Laurel squared off in what was deemed the Larkey Bowl. Tom Larkey in the Commodores and his son Chris Larkey in the undefeated Jaguars. North Laurel proved all too much for the Perry Central squad, beating them 37-14, keeping the Jaguars' undefeated season hopes alive. North is off next week, and all that's left on their schedule is the 5-3 Montgomery County Eagles. 2 weeks remain in the regular season, 2 weeks for teams to get everything sorted out among their district. And then it's game on. This has been the Least Famous Recipe Hazard and Whitesburg 2-minute drill. All right, time to check out the big game board, our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week, a game we've been waiting on all season, it seems like. Number 1 and number 3 in our Mountain Top 10, a huge 5A, Class 5A District 7 matchup between defending 5A state champ Pulaski County and the Southwestern Warriors. If the Harlan Green Dragons, since Pineville lost, the Harlan Green Dragons have all but locked up their district title. They'll clinch their district. Harlan County and Perry Central fighting for seeding in Class 5A District 8. A big 4A District 8 matchup in Ashland between the Tomcats and the number 2 in the Mountain Top 10, Johnson Central Golden Eagles. And what about Paintsville? They bring in Raceland with a chance to win the Class A District 6 title, and Knott Central tries to even up its district record at 2-2 with a win at home against Estill County.
I find this fascinating. Pulaski County is the defending 5A state champs, Southwestern the defending district champs.
Thank you for that little tidbit, Josh. Up next, we hit the Wayback Machine to 2002.
The Breathitt County Bobcats and the Russell Red Devils battle it out in a memorable state semifinal game up in Jackson.
Yeah, check that out next in our Sports Overtime Rewind.
With 3 state championships in its history, Breathitt County has certainly played its fair share of classics, but aside from the 3 state championship games, maybe no one game is more memorable than the one played on the night of November 29, 2002. In this week's Sports Overtime Rewind, we go back to the 2002 state semifinals between the Breathitt County Bobcats and the Russell Red Devils. Breathitt County versus Russell, Class 2A state semifinals. The date was November 29th of 2002. The site was Jackson, Kentucky. The Bobcat offense was ranked #1 in the state, scoring more than 49 points per game. The Red Devil defense was allowing less than 14 points per game. Breathitt County was riding a 13-game winning streak. Russell had won 7 straight games and 10 of its previous 11. On paper, the two teams were even, and on the field, even more so. The Bobcats came out like they had all season, throwing the football, and Dustin Barnett's touchdown reception from Justin Haddix gave Breathitt County a 6-0 lead. 6-0 because the extra point was no good. Breathitt County's defense had only allowed 140 total points all season, just more than 11 per game. But Michael Gabbard's rushing touchdown with less than 3 minutes to play in the first half put the Bobcats on the losing end of the scoreboard for the first time all season. Let me repeat that. Breathitt County had not trailed all season until the second quarter of the state semifinals. And things seemed to snowball in the second half. Haddix entered the game with just 3 interceptions, but against Russell's defense had 3 in the game, not to mention a lost fumble for 4 total turnovers. Breathitt County's defense that had played so well all season allowed more points in the third quarter alone than its season average, and Gabbard's second rushing touchdown of the game had the Red Devils leading 21-6 heading into the fourth quarter. But that is when Mike Holcomb and his team went to work. Haddix, known more for his passing, scored his 16th rushing touchdown of the season to cut into the Russell lead 21-14, 5 seconds into the final quarter. After a defensive stand on Russell's ensuing drive, Haddix and the offense went back to work, over the middle, deep to 1,200-yard receiver Courtney Johnson. And then it was Haddix again, doing it with his legs. A QB sneak to make it a 1-point game, 21-20. David Little puts the PAT through the uprights, and tied at 21, Breathitt County and Russell would play extra football.
The overtime period here. Guys play a nice ball game.
First up were the Red Devils, and sticking to the script, Michael Gabbard, his third rushing touchdown of the game, put Russell back on top 27-21. Tack on the extra, no! The point after, no good. So now Russell with only a 6-point lead, and the Bobcats getting one more chance at home. Who else does Holcomb go to but Justin Haddix? A state record 58 passing touchdowns in 2002, but his third rushing touchdown against Russell tied the game yet again, 27-all. David Little, your turn. Snap, hold, kick, game. A 15-point fourth quarter deficit against one of the state's top defenses, 4 turnovers by your starting quarterback, 3 of which were interceptions, who had only thrown 3 all season. Yet in the only stat that mattered most, Breathitt County beat Russell 28-27 in overtime to advance to the state finals, where the Bobcats would win their 3rd state championship with a 51-0 rout of Corbin. You could call it destiny, but maybe Leo Tolstoy and later Justin Haddix said it best. The strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience.
We stay patient. When we come back, they can't stop us. We're going Louisville, baby.
That's right, I dropped a Leo Tolstoy reference in that. Up next, we'll name this week's Play of the Week and preview the Cincinnati Bengals match up with the Buffalo Bills as Cincy tries to stay undefeated. Our Play of the Week, we go to the Big House. Michigan State, Spartans down 2, just seconds remaining. They block the punt and return it for the touchdown as the clock hits 0. A 0.2% chance to win at the snap, and that guy can't believe it.
Poor
But
soul.
it doesn't matter. Michigan State, the huge win on the road in Lansing. Our Play of the Week, and I've got to say that made me very, very happy.
Punters are people too.
Sure they are. Week 6 of the NFL season. And Lauren, I don't know about you, but my fantasy teams are doing pretty well this season.
Okay, well, while yours are doing well, I've had to deal with an absurd amount of injuries, but Tom Brady's kept me competitive in games, but I'm still barely there. You know who else has been competitive in games but hasn't been able to finish? The Tennessee Titans. The Titans hit the road to Miami to face Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins. Tennessee has been in a lot of close games this season, but only managed to come out on top in the first game of the year against the Bucs. Offensive coordinator and former Lawrence County native Jason Michaels says the bye week helped them reset and refocus on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think you go back and you look at what they've done. That's what they've worked from, through training camp. They're going to have some things, and I'm sure they're probably going to have some stuff that's different than what they've done. But we've got to base it off the film that we've seen, and really what it boils down to is us executing. I mean, I know that's a easy thing to say, but it's about what we do, and that's continued throughout the year. But if we go out and execute our plan, no matter what they do defensively, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win the football game. And we'll take it and let our rules take care of it if they do show us something that we haven't seen.
With the Atlanta Falcons falling to the New Orleans Saints Thursday, there are only 5 undefeated teams left in the NFL. Lauren?
Cincinnati Bengals are one of them.
Okay, that's one of them. You cheated.
Yeah,
the Bengals travel up to Buffalo this weekend for a date with the 3-2 Bills. Quarterback Andy Dalton says he's been overall pleased with his team's focus through the first 5 games and is ready to test that undefeated record on the road.
Yeah, they play really hard, and they give you so many different looks and different things that they do. So it make you prepare for a lot of different things. They do a really good job in their blitz packages, trying to disguise things. And for us, I mean, we have to be sharp on everything that we're doing with the preparation and everything.
Thursday Night Football on WYMT continues this Thursday with an NFC West Division battle between the Seahawks and the 49ers. Coverage of the game begins at 8 o'clock, and you can watch it right here on WYMT.
Those two teams don't like each other.
Not in the slightest. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night. We have a ton going on next week.
You should see our calendar. Round ball previews start next week. I'm heading to Charlotte for SEC
Josh.
Media Day. Pulaski County Southwestern High School Game of the Week. U Pike at Cumberland's our college game of the week.
I already lost count. Just a few things, and of course, we are always looking forward to it. But for everyone in the sports and production departments, good night.
Good night.